How you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler video series of videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. This is also my breakfast. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there, I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm in my back room today, which means we get, boom, Peter Cannon Thunderbolt poster behind me over here. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I am doing something else. But what is it? I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today? Happens to be my, boom, one of my Limp Bizkit shirts from their Loserville tour specifically. If you're unfamiliar with the band Limp Bizkit, they were like basically the biggest band of like the late 90s into early 2000s. They were very much kind of, at the precipice of that new metal scene that was going on. I certainly was a fan as a kid. And I'll be honest, I fell off like most people did. Not so much because like I got out of the the new metal scene or anything. I still enjoyed it, but they definitely became pariahs at a certain point, and kind of like I think a lot of people looked at them as being like everything wrong with new metal, fairly or unfairly. But thankfully, they've sort of kind of retconned their image a little bit, and they've been able to sort of they're still doing their thing. So last year I got to see them perform live for the first time, and it was actually a great show. That's where I got my shirt from. I also got some videos of the performance that I attended. If you want to go over there and check those out, they are on the channel. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to kind of point you in the right direction as far as their music goes, because I think they're a great band, unironically. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Well, like I said, this is my breakfast. I got off work a little while ago, and I was looking through the cupboard, trying to see, I got plenty of instant noodles and this, that, and the other thing. And I looked at my freezer, I was like, So, I'm reviewing, boom, it's these. It's from a company called Caribbean Food Delights. These are their Jamaican style beefy cheese patties. Ooh. Now, I have reviewed some of these Jamaican patties before, typically the ones from a company called Golden Crust. But I do think I did the Caribbean Food Delights maybe one time. But I definitely wasn't the cheesy one. So, I figured, what the hell. They're super simple. You just pop them in the microwave for a couple minutes. Bob's your uncle. Bob's my uncle. So let's open it up. Take a look at it. All right. Fuck you. I'm trying to leave the thing intact, but no. There you go. All right. And yeah, it looks like that. It's a little bit different. It's a similar shape, a little bit different size than the Golden Crust, and it doesn't have that like sort of fluorescent yellow that you get with Golden Crust. But let's get a thing for the thing here. Do a thing, and we'll do it like this, and we'll go, we'll do it like this. Ha 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 ha! Let's try out some Jamaican style patties. I actually did find a place by me, kind of by me, that does like the proper patties. Like, nothing against these, but like, they make them in-house. Planning on doing a review of that place some point in the future, whenever I can get around to it. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. It's very much what I've come to expect from these Jamaican style patties. Really good, really tasty. The pastry is always really nice. I will say, I personally have found that the Golden Crust, for me, is probably my preferred pastry. But the pastry on this is still good. Like I said, it's just a quick 2-minute heat in the microwave. It's got enough stability to it. It also carries a lot of flavor. Like, it's not like you're just going over there and, looking forward to the innards. You're actually enjoying the entire product. And that's very much the case here. I will say, as a mild point of criticism, I do feel like Golden Crust gives you a little bit more on the inside. Because there's definitely room here. They could have definitely inflated this a little bit more. But it is what it is, you know. It's not a huge point of contention. The one thing I will say, the cheese definitely plays a role, but I was kind of hoping for more of like an ooey gooey cheese. Instead, it's definitely more sort of blended with the beef itself. So you do get the flavor, but you don't get like that ooey gooey cheesiness, like, you get with like a Hot Pocket. But flavor-wise, it's definitely 1,000 times better than a fucking Hot Pocket. The beef tastes nice with the cheese. It does give it almost a little bit of a cheeseburger kind of flavor. But then, of course, you have like the, Jamaican kind of seasonings and what have you and stuff. So it goes over there and, gives it a different flair. But it definitely has, again, something of a familiar vibe to it. Yeah, that's really tasty. My only grievance, I just want more. I forget exactly what these cost me, but I don't think they were anything crazy expensive. For me personally, and this is just me, I'd be willing to drop a little bit extra for a little bit extra. I'm just saying. Because, you only get 2 in the box, so, I'm definitely going to wolf this one down, make the other one, that'll be a quick breakfast for me, so. Yeah, that's a good time. I got no particular problems with that. But 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get them again? Would I recommend them? I personally have to go with yes and yes. I think for me, finding these Jamaican patties, like I was aware that they existed. I watched a documentary once about like there was a whole issue in Canada because they had Jamaican restaurants that would make these and they would call them patties, but then bureaucracy is the dumbest thing in the world, and it was like, well, technically they can't be, and just the stupidest shit ever. Really interesting little documentary though. So I was aware that they existed, but I didn't realize you could get them in microwavable capacity. You could just make them at home, and I really love these things ever since I first started trying them out, and they've definitely been something that I've gone over there and put in my freezer semi-regularly. Now, like I said, I do have a slight preference for the Golden Crust. I do think that they've sort of been my gold standard, no pun intended. And I think that these, though, are perfectly fine. The gap between these and Golden Crust is not substantial. It's just a few, or just really a couple little things. But the overall of them, they're really tasty. I like the ones with the cheese. I don't know if typically cheese is part of the whole thing, or if that's more just something that they introduced for an, Western or American audience. But I do like that element to it. I'm an American. They're tasty, man, and I like the little bit of kick that you get from them. Not anything crazy. They're not spicy, but they're spiced. And these are tasty, So I would get them again for sure. And if I'm recommending them, I am 100% recommending them. I have been singing the praises of these ever since the first one that I reviewed. I just think that they're a really nice option to have. Look, I'll eat some Hot Pockets. I'm not trying to completely Jim Gaffigan on the Hot Pockets. If you know, you know. But, at the same time, it's like, look, man, I've had plenty of Hot Pockets in my day. They're fine. They do what they need to do. These, for me, are personally just a more elevated experience. Not by leaps and bounds, but definitely better, And I really do like them. And, hey, if you're like me and you're just not someone who cooks a lot, having a little bit of variety is a nice thing to have. And I think that, whatever barrier of entry somebody, again, in my position of, being somebody from America, maybe not super familiar with these, there's really nothing to it. Again, 2 minutes in the microwave, and in terms of the flavors that are at play, they're all familiar. They're just, again, a little bit elevated, a little bit different. So, but I definitely recommend them. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there and have yourselves a truly Jamaican-tastic rest of your life. Because, hey, Jamaica, they make really good food. And they had a bobsled team. There was a whole video, there was a whole movie about it. It's factually nowhere near accurate, but final two things. Number one, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do can't do it all the time. I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Now, folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. If you've seen the movie Cool Runnings, and if you have, what do you think about it? I love Cool Runnings. Like, I was so bummed out when I found out that that wasn't, like, even vaguely factually. Like, there was a Jamaican bobsled team. But when you look into the facts, like, it's just, you know, obviously they took a lot of liberties to... But it's a fun movie, you know? It's like, it's fun. Feel the rhythm, feel the ride, get on up, it's bobsled time. Come on! That's totally going to be my battle cry if, like, the world ever goes into, like, a post-apocalyptic type situation. I become sort of warlord. Feel the rhythm. Feel the ride. Get on up. It's bobsled time. Cool Runnings. And then we're just, you know, all kinds of slaughter and, you know, mayhem and pillaging and stuff. Post-apocalyptic stuff. Anyway,